cool episode because we're going to be introducing you to Gabe. Gabe has brought some of his incredible animals. He's going to be telling you guys about them. Hopefully you'll have a bunch of questions to ask him so he can answer them for you. But just want to address a couple of quick things before we begin. Oh, we actually have someone else here that wants to say hi. If you guys have been out here, you probably know who she is. And this is Tori. Tori is here too. If you guys have been out here, you all know who Tori is. She's a little camera shy tonight, so we're going to try to embarrass her as often as possible. So 2 things before we begin. Number 1, we have still not found a home for this incredibly beautiful dog. Their family has not reached out for her. So we gave her a name of Cutie so far. We keep changing it, which is probably not the best thing to do. But as of tomorrow, this dog becomes ours because it'll be 10 days since she's been listed on Animal Care and Control's site. With that said, we will be making a decision tomorrow of what we're doing with her future, whether she'll be staying with us or we'll be finding her an incredible home. But I wanted to give you guys that update because I know a lot of you guys have been asking, and I can't thank you all enough for sharing and commenting and trying to find her home. It's really important to us that you guys did that, and we are super, super happy you did. Now, number 2, we have some special news for you guys. We have created a Facebook page called Animal Adventure
Staff Gone Wild.
Animal Adventure Safari Staff Gone Wild, and it is right there. We're running live on one of them right now. I'm gonna put the link after this live is over for you guys to go and find that page on Facebook. We're gonna have an Instagram page as well, so and a YouTube page and probably a TikTok page. But this page is very important to us. We're gonna do something a little bit different that most companies I don't think have caught on to yet. But we have monetized that account. We're going to take all of the money that we earn from that account, or all the profits we get from that account. We're going to split it up between some of the staff that want to get involved in our content. Gabe happens to be one of them, Tori is another, and then we've got a few others, but we're going to do all those introductions over the next couple of weeks. But I wanted to bring this to your attention because we need more followers, and if you ever need figure out a way how you can thank us or help us if you came out here, just constantly look at that page, engage with it, comment, share it, because all the money we make from that, we're going to give back to our staff, which I think is a pretty cool idea. So we're excited about some of the content we're going to be creating. So if you start seeing us pushing that page, make sure you give it a follow and let us know what you think of the content. But I'm going to go put this little cute puppy away. We're going to introduce Gabe a little bit better right now, and you'll see who he's got in his hands, which I'm pretty excited to learn about too. So I'm going to hand it over to these guys.
Alrighty. So first things first, Gabe. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your time here with us, how long you've been working for us, and kind of start there before we get into who you've got in your hands?
So if anybody tuning in today has been in any of my tours before, you guys know I'm tour guide Gabe out here. But I've been just hit my 6 months here with Animal Adventures, and
Cool.
I wish there were enough words to describe how amazing my experience has been. I talk about this sometimes with people during my tours. But I grew up coming to places like this. I've always loved animals, and it's really cool being able to work at a place like this where I'm actually able to not only interact but teach people about them. And it's super cool. I also have some friends of my own here at home that I brought with us today. I talk about them all the time. Unfortunately, they're not out here on a day-to-day basis, but they're super cool. This right here is Slinky. He is my little
Mr.
partner in
Slink.
crime. He's a Halmahera Indonesian blue-tongued skink. There's 2 varieties of these skinks, the Indonesians and the Australians.
Wait, can you say that one more time? What is it?
Halmahera Indonesian blue-tongued skink.
Okay.
Halmahera
Indonesian
Indonesian blue-tongued skink.
Okay.
There you go.
Jordan, spell it. Can you spell
Can you
that
spell that for us?
That's when I can't spell it.
Just try it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Halmahera.
Sound it out.
Halmoura.
It's an A.
Is it?
Halmahera.
I was close enough.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Pretty cool. So you said Indonesian, but can they be found like anywhere around like the outskirts of that? Or are they pretty in a small spot in Indonesia?
They're pretty much set in Indonesia. There's other species and subspecies of this same skink as well that kind of stretch out to those other areas, but mainly the Halmahera you'll be finding in those parts of Indonesia. Super, super cool. They like more of a humid environment. The species coming from Australia are going to have a very different coloration than this guy. He's a lot blacker here on the sides, the dark browns here on the back. It's kind of to help him blend into the dark
You want to
forest.
bring him a
floor.
little closer to all of them so they can see when he brings them close. Look how cool and how thick his scales are too.
Yeah.
It's like
They have these very, very sleek, smooth, glossy scales. They're even more so glossy
cool.
on the
His
stomach.
belly
You guys
is
could
so
see
cool.
that. But skinks have very short limbs, as you guys could see. They're kind of like a very snake-like lizard, but they don't really pick themselves up off the floor. They kind of just drag themselves along and use those very smooth scales to move along without any sort of friction, which is super, super cool.
So this might be a stupid question, but can he swim or no?
not
No?
not
Okay.
very well. Not very well. There's been some times where I were to assist him with shedding and things like that, and I would put him in a bathtub, give him like a little lukewarm water soak, kind of helps those stuck pieces of shed come off. But yeah, not typically the kind of animal you'd see swimming. Just by taking a look at those short limbs, you
Yes.
could imagine not very good at it.
And then, what are some of his favorite things to eat? Because I know this guy's got an awesome
So-
appetite. But if you had to pick like his top 3, what would it be his like top 3 things?
He is a sucker for watermelons.
Mm,
Absolutely loves them. He really likes shrimp,
really?
which sucks because I'm allergic. I'm allergic to it. I can't eat it.
Wow.
But yeah, they're awesome omnivores. They can eat just about anything.
Shrimp.
Yeah, he loves shrimp, and kind of tough. Do you guys know what a hornworm is?
Yeah.
It's like the
yeah,
big
he
ones?
really likes those. I
Oh,
don't give
that's
them to
cool.
him too often because they're very fatty, but
He's
definitely
watching
one.
his figure. a
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah. No,
Gotta
that's
keep
so
the guy
cool.
nice and slim. Don't
Yeah.
pack on too much unhealthy weight. But no, he's perfect. He's doing very good.
And are they relatively quick? I know he has short limbs, but can he
Yeah.
move fast if he has
If
to?
if they need a scurry, they can. Typically, not gonna.
Yeah.
Especially with this guy right here. He doesn't
Yeah.
see anything as a threat. But yeah, in the wild, these guys are definitely pretty good at scurrying away. But one other thing I'd like to talk about. You guys saw a little bit. I'll show you again. You guys could see the super cool blue tongue that these guys have, where they get the name from. But that is going to be something called aposematic coloration. Let's try to spell that one, Jordan.
What is that?
Aposematic coloration. It's the same thing poison dart frogs have.
Really?
Monarch butterflies as well, that bright orange.
Wow.
Typically in the animal kingdom, any bright colored display like that kind of shows another animal, hey, don't mess with me, I'm poisonous or I'm venomous. So when these guys get upset, aside from flicking out the tongue like that, he's just tasting the air, picking up particles in the air, and at the roof of their mouth they have something called a Jacobson's organ. That's kind of like a computer that processes all those things their tongues pick up.
That's
But
crazy.
yeah, if they were to get upset, they kind of flatten out the tongue and flash it really, really quickly. And again, that aposematic coloration display would be kind of to tell a predator, hey, don't mess with me. He's not poisonous or anything like that, but the predator doesn't know that, which is super, super
Wow.
cool.
And then one last thing for Slinky before we move on to another guest.
Sure.
Do you want to tell everybody kind of the care you had to do for him when you first took him in, and
Absolutely.
how hard it was to get him to the part or
Yeah.
the place he is now?
So you guys could see he's big, he's healthy, he's happy. Unfortunately, he was not always this way. Really unfortunate thing, especially when you're buying animals like this. In the reptile trade, a lot of these guys will be found wild caught, field collected, things like that. And typically it's best to avoid buying an animal like that because one, by buying it, you're supporting them and allowing them to continue doing so. Then you're going to get yourself in for a whole lot of health issues and things that you may not be prepared for, things that aren't necessarily too good for the animal. So when I got this guy here, he had a pretty bad respiratory infection. When I first got him, that was pretty easy for me to treat myself. Just gave him some warm baths and that kind of helped that go away. And then another thing, he was absolutely covered in mites from head to toe. Their scales are pretty flat, they lay nice and smoothly on top of one another, but every single scale he had was pushed up from the amount of mites that he had burrowed underneath those scales, sucking this animal's blood dry. It was so sad. His eyes were not even open half the time because they were just all around his eyelids, but treated that myself as well. Warm baths, I had got a special medicine to spray this guy with, help wipe off all those bugs. I had to take all the substrate out of his enclosure, kind of have him on a nice sterile environment with paper towel, no wooden objects in his enclosure or anything like that. But
So crazy. You did a
Yeah.
great job because
Thank you,
he's
guys.
the coolest little
Yeah,
guy
he's
ever.
beautiful.
He's
Yeah.
awesome. He's awesome. I treat this guy like he's a dog or something, but he's the best. He goes everywhere with me. He's amazing.
He's so cool.
He's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Well, thank you,
guys.
Slinky.
Yeah.
He's pretty cool.
Say bye to Slinky, guys. Thanks for having
Bye,
some time
Slinky.
to meet him.
In the meantime, do we have any questions? Anything?
So in the meantime, I'm gonna hop in here for a minute.
Here we go.
So remember, this is a Q&A, guys. Ask us lots of questions. Ask Gabe lots of questions. Ask any of us questions. I don't care if it's animal related, or safari related, or anything. I don't care what it is. Ask us lots of questions. And remember, we need this to go out. So the best way for more people to see this is to share it. And especially if you're watching on Facebook, if you share it now, that's really important. Instagram and YouTube, technically, you really can't do anything with it right now until we post it afterwards. So usually a lot of the comments on Instagram, they go away. Where Facebook, you could constantly look at it all week long and check on the comments from the live or the shares. But again, please, it's very helpful for us if you guys share this. You can share it now. If you shared it, please let us know you did, because we like to go back and see who shared and maybe who didn't. But for us to keep continuing this, lots of shares, lots of comment, lots of engagement.
Okay, I'm
Tell me
taking
to
you
shut
out
up.
because
You kick me
I'm
out.
excited for the next one.
Oh my God. I've never in my life seen anything like
That's
that.
one of the ones I'm most excited
It's
for.
like a dinosaur.
Can you get up?
This is really, really cool.
And then it looks like
Real
we do
quick,
have
give her a
questions
pencil,
coming
soft.
through.
Oh my
too.
God, it doesn't look like it would be like that.
Right? Not at all.
It's not, I don't see any questions.
Oh my god.
So,
Okay. I'm
here,
so excited.
real quick, I'll let you hold her.
Hello, little lady. Oh, I have to show everybody how beautiful she
This
is.
right here is Chewy. She is something called a Chahoua gecko. That is a New Caledonian species of gecko. New Caledonia is a small little group of islands off the southeast coast of Australia. There's a few different species of gecko that are going to be inhabiting that island.
Wow.
One of them is going to be
gosh.
the Leachianus gecko, which is the largest species of gecko on the entire planet. Super, super cool. One of the other species, which happens to be my favorite, is again this little lady right here, Chewy the
She's so
Chahoua gecko.
cool.
She is absolutely awesome. I don't even know where to start with her. She's super cool. Prehensile tail, you guys
What?
can see kind of hooking onto the...
What?
Yeah, fully prehensile.
Oh,
And
that's
actually,
That makes me love her even more.
a pretty cool thing. You guys know with geckos, the pads they have on their fingers, right?
No.
That allow them to like walk on.
I know they like
Oh, yeah,
stick
yeah,
the
yeah,
guts,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
The last little bit of their tail is covered in that same little
Get the
pad.
fuck out.
It's pretty cool.
That's really
You
cool.
would sometimes
Can I feel it?
sometimes you could feel it kind of depends if she engages it or
Wow,
not.
that's oh, so she has the ability to engage it or just
Yeah.
be like, I don't need to use it right now.
Yes, exactly. So
Wow.
a lot of people think with like gecko. You want to hold her? A lot of people think with like gecko feet, it's like actually sticky, almost
Yeah.
like little suction cups.
That's what I was expecting,
It's-
if I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
But it's,
every time I explain it, I usually like draw it on a little piece of paper, but they're pretty much just tons of little flaps of skin that are kind of curved like this.
almost like Velcro a
And-
little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So
Awesome.
it works with friction kind of. So when all those little curved flaps of skin are overlapping one another, they trap little air pockets that create surface tension on whatever solid it is that they're walking on.
Wow.
And yeah, just by, you'll see if she wants to disengage them, she kind of, when she's walking, will curl her toes up.
Yeah.
And that opens up those little flaps of skin, disengaging that friction, which is super cool.
Wow. Her
Right.
coloration is
Absolutely beautiful.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely beautiful. I'll come around to the cameras
Yeah.
again so you guys could see.
it looks
Oh my
like
God.
it looks like she was like painted, like
You guys could
perfectly
see.
camouflaged.
She has some cool
She reminds
greens
me of
in
a
there,
dinosaur.
even some little
Yes.
bits of red. But being that this is an arboreal animal, she's going to be living in trees throughout the rainforest. Those
Wow.
trees, a lot of them are pretty ancient, very old, covered in mosses and lichens, things like that. So their skin, the patterning on their skin is supposed to mimic that, help them completely blend in. And a super cool thing, do you see kind of that little flap of skin she has right there on her chin?
Yeah.
It goes all the way throughout the side of their body as well, onto their arms and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And again, you can see how
Yes.
squishy it is.
It's
Little
really
skin.
cute.
So when they're on an uneven surface, like the bark of a tree or something like that, those little flaps of skin, those loose pieces of skin that they have, actually form around the uneven pieces of that bark, allowing for them to almost look seamless with
Wow.
it, which is super, super cool.
I have a question.
Sure.
Because I noticed with Slinky, his pupils were circular, but hers are vertical.
Hers are vertical, yeah.
What makes that different?
So most nocturnal animals are gonna have vertical slits like that, just for the
Mhm.
purpose of it dilating, opening up, and closing.
Yeah.
With a circle, it's a lot harder necessarily for the size of that shape to kind of shrink
Yeah,
like
get
that.
tiny.
Then for the nocturnal animals, that vertical pupil kind of just shrink inwards.
Wow.
But yeah, when it's nighttime right now, so of course it will always adjust almost instantly to the amount of light. I'm sure this pupil is a little bit more open than the one actually facing the lights.
It is actually,
Yeah.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so they're super good at controlling it, but it's pretty cool. Like in my room at night and stuff, when she's out, she's hunting, she's eating her food, eyes are just solid black. Super,
Wow.
super cool. Very acute sense of sight in the dark like that.
And what are some of her favorite things to eat?
So she eats crickets. I offer her something called dubia roaches as well. But these New Caledonian species of gecko, they're really going to be eating rotten fruits and things like that. Sometimes that'll even fall on the forest floor. So in captivity, they have tons of companies that make it, but it's kind of like a powdered diet.
Yeah.
You take 1 part of that, 2 parts water, and then kind of just, it's almost like a little applesauce. But it
That's really
contains
cool.
various fruits, proteins, things that they would even be finding in insects as well.
Wow.
But
she
that's
is
really all
so
they'll
cool.
be. Super cool, beautiful coloration.
Yeah.
They're completely capable of changing
I was
any of the
gonna
tones
ask, yeah,
of
that's-
color. Yeah,
that's
sometimes she'll be
crazy.
like a very nice light green, almost looking totally like flat gray.
Wow.
And then when she's fired up like that, those colors get super, super bright.
That's
So
really
I have a question
Oh, I was
for
gonna
you.
ask.
Sure.
Oh, I'm not reading one. This is my personal
My
question.
question too, I'm not reading one either.
So when it comes to reptiles, I've been around them a little bit. I have absolutely no experience
Right.
compared to all the animals we have here. My biggest thing with reptiles is I have a very hard time figuring out if they're happy, mad, or sad, because I feel like it's very hard.
Yeah.
Their facial expressions and their body language to me is
Don't-
like a different language. Can you identify based on their body language or their facial expressions if they are happy, mad, or sad?
So that's an excellent question. A couple examples I could go over with just some of the animals I have. Someone like her, not more so on the intelligence side the way something like that skink is.
So the skinks are way more.
Absolutely,
Intelligent
very,
these
very
guys?
smart animals. Yeah, if she were upset, this tail right here, geckos are capable of dropping the tail. She'd kind of start wiggling it around like this before
What?
she
Get
gets
outta
ready
here.
to drop it.
They
Yeah.
just really, they're just like, I don't need this, drop
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Wait a second, so they'll
Just
get rid of their
attaches
tail.
the
They
tail.
drop the tail. Yeah.
How does that work with their tail being prehensile?
That's exactly how they're able to do it. That muscle control in the tail is where they're able. It's kind of almost think of it as segments. They could choose any point in that tail where they want to drop it and release it at.
That's
So we find
will it grow back?
it'll grow back. It won't look as pretty as it does right now, but it'll grow back. Yeah.
Will it grow
it'll-
back prehensile?
Yeah, it'll still be prehensile. Never have as good as function. It'll
Right.
never look as pretty. But yeah, it will still be
That's
prehensile.
And I'm not sure if you mentioned this, but what is her lifespan?
These guys will typically live 10-ish, 15 years. In captivity, a little bit longer, pushing 20
Okay.
sometimes.
Wow.
Something like Slinky would live upwards of 25, closer to 30, which is super cool.
I don't mean to disrupt you. Is
Hands are
YouTube on? Because someone commented
Someone
YouTube's not.
commented, yeah, it is.
I-
I
yeah,
looked
it is,
on
it's working.
Yeah, it looks like there's people
Yeah, there's
watching.
people
I think
in
there's people
They say hi.
commenting on YouTube.
I will not go that close.
She's cool,
So
right?
I have a question. I don't know if you answered it, but how much do they utilize their tail with it being like prehensile and stuff?
So actually, a lot of the time, they're really not going to use it, especially during the day when they are sleeping. Like in her enclosure, she has a ton of structure that there's no empty spot in that enclosure. She'll kind of just sit curled up on a surface. The tail, they actually will kind of curl, kind of like a chameleon. Looks pretty cool.
I just
But
saw
really-
the thing with her toes. Sorry,
Oh,
not to
did you when
interrupt.
they
Yes.
curl them up?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
But,
that's so cool.
A lot of the time, if they're jumping on a branch and they're kind of slipping a little bit, or they just need some extra assistance, that's really when they'll press it up or curl it in a way to help hook onto a branch, help them climb.
Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with
Oh,
it.
and another thing about geckos, that just reminded me. I wish I had a spray bottle right now because it'd be really cool to show you guys. But geckos, most species of gecko don't have eyelids. So,
Oh.
especially from something like this that's from a rainforest, when there's rain going all around them, it gets on their body, gets on their face, they have no way of kind of blinking it off their eyeball, so they actually lick it. It sounds gross, but it's actually really cute and it
That's
looks
cool.
cool. Like when I'm spraying her enclosure throughout the day, she gets some little water droplets on her eye. They like start
Just, like,
licking the
lick it
lips and
off?
go
It's
completely.
like a
up.
windshield wiper. Like,
Yeah,
that's cool.
and they do that too. Like since they can't blink, they can't keep their eyes moist. They use their saliva to do that.
That is really, really cool.
Really, definitely interesting,
So
but super
her
cute.
her skin is obviously different than Slinky's skin. Would you consider these like little scales?
Yeah, those are still scales.
Gosh.
Definitely soft. They're a completely different structure.
They're
His are called
tiny.
keeled scales when they're kind of overlapping like that.
Mhm.
But hers are just kind of tiny little
So
beads.
she'll shed too.
Yeah, she'll shed. It'll be his scales. Slinky's are kind of flaky. They don't really come off in big,
Right.
big,
Yeah, like
continuous
the-
pieces and
yeah.
stuff like that. Hers are more pretty uniform. They come off in larger segments and pieces. But yeah,
Wow.
definitely still scales, but very different types of scales.
She's really cool.
Yeah. Do they live in groups or by themselves?
Not completely solitary.
Solitary.
Completely
That's cool.
solitary.
And then what do they do about mating? Like how do they, if they're solitary, do they mate and then leave?
Yeah, so that no monogamy
Yeah.
or anything like that. Yeah, and kind of just mating season comes around.
Just find
Males,
something.
yeah, go about their day, find themselves a lady.
Do they
and
do
then
any
once
like
that's-
screams or anything?
No, nothing like that. No. Some
Any little dances?
Do they
Yeah.
have a hard bite?
it's not too bad. They definitely have some teeth. I've never been bit by her, but I do know a little bit about it. Not bad.
Cool. No,
Not
I
bad.
would, if she bit me, I'd think it was the coolest thing ever. I love her so
I'd be
much.
happy to get bit by her. Honestly.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
But
It would be an honor.
yeah, bite force isn't crazy on an animal like this. It's something that's really just eating mushy, rotten fruit. So no real reason to be able to chew things up and crush things like that.
And this-
But animals like Slinky,
I'm sorry. Continue.
No, you're good.
I'm just excited.
Slinky can hurt you
Like,
though, right?
yeah, and
Yeah.
that could potentially send you to the hospital and get
Wow.
some stitches in a wound. Like they have very strong jaws. It has a large head. That animal. It's been documented. Sometimes they'll even crush things like snails and things like that. And that's a very tough shell they need to get through.
she's
Just super cool.
her toenails on my
See, yeah, she
face.
kind of just flattens down.
flattened.
Super cool.
That's cool.
And then one last question, and then I'll let you bring her close to the camera again. But this might be really stupid, but do they lay eggs or is it live babies?
Yeah, they'll lay eggs. Actually, pretty cool thing. The skinks are oviviparous, which means they will be giving live birth. But yeah, these geckos right here are going to be laying eggs.
Look at that stretch.
Yeah, most reptiles have kind of a very soft, leathery shell. Doesn't really develop a very hard calcium shell the way like birds do and stuff. But yeah, they're going to be tiny little leathery
How many do
eggs.
they usually have?
1 to 2. No
Really?
more than
Oh,
that,
wow.
yeah. 1 to 2. No, most geckos will actually only lay 1 to 2 eggs.
That's it.
Yeah.
Not a lot at all.
Because most
Reptiles.
reptiles lay a lot of eggs, right?
Yeah, so snakes have, it really depends on the size of the snake. Something like those Burmese pythons can have like upwards of 80, 90 eggs, which is insane. Yeah.
And what percentage typically hatch? Like, do most of them? Or do they lose a lot? Is that why they have so many?
Yeah, so the actual success rate of the eggs hatching is pretty high, more so just, I mean, even something like the Burmese python, they're about 22 inches when they're born, which is already insane. It's already
Yeah,
almost
wow.
2 feet long. But it's, just for those guys that are naturally from Burma in Asia, there's so many predators out there. It's more so about the actual
Right.
baby living to reach adulthood. But the success rate is usually pretty good.
That's pretty cool.
If there are no fertility issues with either of the parents, then success rate will usually be pretty good.
That's
But
neat.
yeah,
That's so cool. All right, you want to give them one last peek at her, and then we'll switch to the next one.
I've
She's
seen.
so cool. I think she's. I
If
mean, we
anyone-
haven't met everybody so far, but she's one of my
If anyone's
top
paying
favorites.
pretty close attention, I'm sure you guys could tell she definitely changed
Yeah,
vibrancy
holy
and
cow, she
patterns
did.
a little bit since we
That is
first brought
crazy.
her around for you
Yeah,
guys.
she's got like green and brown now.
Yeah.
It's
Al, do you want
She
to
reminds me of like a military uniform.
Yeah, right?
I'm not seeing anything.
So cool.
I'm gonna get up
Like,
close
look
and
at
personal,
look at all the
guys.
substrate. Look how like amazing
Yeah, that's
that
amazing.
animal.
And if there are no questions now, make
So
sure you guys
cool.
are asking
So
us questions. As you can tell, Gabe is very knowledgeable about his babies, so he will love to answer
Gabe,
questions.
I know your last name, but what is your dad's name?
Wrong.
He's been commenting.
Has he really?
Oh, get us some good
I
questions
know,
for
He's
right?
Gabe.
asking questions.
What's up? He's probably crying right now.
This is a proud dad moment.
He said you should get out there and catch a python. I bet you'd be great at it.
He knows I'm great at it.
Oh, I gotta tell while he's getting his next animal. I gotta tell a story.
Oh my gosh.
So,
yeah, please.
Oh yeah.
One morning,
I already know what
I'll just watch yourself.
Oh, yeah.
So, let's see. So one morning, getting ready to get the safari tour start at 10. So typically from like 8 to 10, everyone out here is like going ape shit, getting everything ready and cleaned and ready for all the guests. We want it to be perfect for you. We try our hardest, and I get a phone call. Like, oh my God, there is a snake loose in one of our
Like the
bathroom
bathroom
area
area.
in the barn. It was not our snake. We were letting somebody keep it here because they needed to for different reasons. But this snake was probably, I don't want to exaggerate, around how long was it?
6, 7,
No.
How big was it?
8-9 feet. Yeah, 8-9 feet.
Yeah, at least. It may have even been 10 feet, but I'm
Yeah,
gonna make
it's a
believe I'm
very
a
big snake.
fisherman. That snake was gigantic. So I don't know nothing about snakes, but I'm always like I'd rather take a bite than someone else, and so I go in there to try to get the snake. I was like, Gabe, just tell me what I could do. I don't want you to get hurt or anything. So I'm trying to get the snake. I don't know what I'm doing, obviously, and it's apparent to everybody around. So the snake comes down, and the snake was not happy. The head on that snake was like this big. And, it's not our snake. Even if it was, we would, be very worried. But when it's someone else's animals, you really want to make sure nothing gets screwed up because, you're responsible for that. And so this snake was up high, and it came down fast. Gabe had superhuman reflexes. He legitimately grabbed that snake while its mouth was open, trying to bite everything, and grabbed it, caught it, and put it away safely. But I've never seen reflexes it was very, very impressive. So he saved the day because this was what kind of snake was that again?
It was a albino Burmese python.
Yeah, it was that thick.
It was like one of his first weekends.
I think, I think at that point I was only hired for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was begging everyone, please let me hold these snakes. Let me
I'll
hold these
sit
snakes.
behind
And Tori
Dad.
actually came up to me and she's like, "Hey Gabe, you're gonna
Now's
get
your
your
shot.
fish now."
Now's your
It was-
shot.
It was pretty crazy. What's
All
going
right,
on?
so-
Wait,
for this
real
next
quick, real
animal,
quick,
okay.
Someone wants to know, can you swim with the otters? They heard that
Can
they.
I swim with the otters?
No, it's an add-on to your VIP tour. So you have to book a VIP tour, and then you can add the otter swim to your VIP tour.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So the next animal we're actually blindfolding my dad for because this animal is
What?
going to be pretty incredible, if that's the word you want to use to describe it. Can you see anything, Dad?
Any questions?
I could see black
Okay, that's perfect. All right,
and
Gabe.
round circles. A lot of round circles.
I'm gonna sit over here, Gabe. You can come back on over.
All right,
Wait, make sure you can't see anything.
put your hands next.
Yeah. How many fingers am I holding up?
3.
Okay.
Perfect.
Hands up, ready?
Like this.
Yeah, don't.
So what are we doing? Do they know what we're doing?
And I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, you want to show it to the
I'll show it
camera?
to them first.
Yeah.
It's a cute hamster, right, guys?
Tell the camera
Yeah.
what we're doing.
So obviously you can see my dad is blindfolded. We're gonna put this animal in his hands and see if he can figure out
Biggest fear.
what.
I already know what it is.
What?
It has to be it.
What?
I don't know. Let's see if it moves again.
Okay.
I don't know.
So
Yeah, I know what it is.
why don't you tell us some interesting tell us how strong this
Wait,
animal
can
is.
I just ask you, if it bites, is that what happens?
It doesn't bite. It's
Being bitten by this animal is probably the least of your worries.
Oh,
Oh my
God. What is it
God.
going to do? Have sex with me?
Dad! Oh my God! We're not repeating that.
No, but what would it do if there's
I guess you'll have to wait till the blindfold
Wait, is there
comes off.
poison that comes out?
Very well could be.
You gotta guess what it
Yeah, so
is.
tell us a little bit without
Do you
like.
want me to tell you what it is?
No,
No, not
Dad
yet.
doesn't. How's he gonna tell about it?
No, I know what it is.
Okay, so what is it?
It's a spider.
No.
No.
No, one of the furry ones?
No.
Oh, shit. What is it?
Do you want me to take the blindfold off?
No, probably not. What is it?
All right, with the
It
blindfold.
seems like it has a lot of fingers.
Blindfold is coming off. Which
It
way?
is a.
Don't throw it. Okay.
Ready?
I'm not going to throw it. Get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry. That's a scorpion, guys. Oh my God. I was not.
He said it's a furry spider.
That's crazy. So now I know why you're saying a biting is least of my worries.
There you go.
Those lobster claws.
So that's actually, I'm so happy. You want to keep holding?
No, you can take it.
So I'm actually very happy you called them lobster claws because people do commonly call them claws, but they're called pedipalps. And a cool thing with scorpions is based on the size of the pedipalp, you're going to be able to really tell the potency of their venom.
No.
The bigger they are like this, the least potent their venom is
Really?
going to be. Mm-hmm. And then there's various species of bark scorpions. We actually have them here in Florida. You'll see they have very, very thin pedipalps because they're not really too capable of defending themselves with those pedipalps. Their venom's going to be a lot more potent.
So what's more dangerous, their claws or hands or their tail? Because that
So
thing looks like it hurts.
on a guy like this, based off the size of those, you can see they're huge. He's very well capable of defending himself with those. There's a lot of muscle in there. That's literally all just muscle inside. I personally would fear actually getting pinched more so than getting
Wow.
stung.
Really?
But potency of the venom is going to be no more than a bee sting on a guy like this.
Have you ever been pinched or stung?
So pinched, yes, not very fun. It really hurts. While I was in the process of getting pinched, I was also holding the stinger by the last knuckle, making sure he couldn't sting me as well.
Wow.
But yeah, that's usually what they'll do. They'll grab something, hold it there, and then just repeatedly sting. And it's not it's not unlike a bee. These guys can sting as many times as they need to. But
Do they give you any warning?
yeah, so they can actually hiss, believe it or
Ah.
not. It's pretty interesting. They
What,
can hiss
what
a little
pisses
bit.
them off?
Rapid touching, things like if he's not in the mood, I'll know. They kind of rear up the pedipalps, open them, make them very wide, and they'll rear up the legs, kind of like facing up towards the back, and then they just point the tail over.
Why does one get one of these for?
I think Heather needs to be fun.
I think they're cool.
I think they're really cool.
Yeah.
I think they're
awesome.
really cool. One of my favorite things about them, Dad, I don't know if you're still in the live or not, but he used to have these cool like black light posters that would glow and stuff. And I was holding my scorpion, and I just like came into his room to show him or something like that, and the scorpion just starts glowing neon yellow.
Get out of here.
Super cool.
That's really cool.
Super
Wow.
cool. A black scorpion like this will glow completely neon yellow under ultraviolet light. It's
Now,
super cool.
Is this the type of scorpion you would find living in the deserts, like in Arizona or Vegas?
No,
Nevada?
actually, so you will find these guys in parts of Indonesia, Asia as well. It's an Asian forest scorpion,
Okay,
so
so
they'll
you
come
probably
from.
wouldn't find them in America.
Yeah, no, and in America, the species of scorpion we do have in I know Arizona, Texas, those states out there. There's the striped-tailed scorpion, the Arizona bark scorpion, which is the most venomous in the United States, and then there's the giant desert hairy scorpion. Those all have kind of like a cool yellowish sandy coloration. Those guys come from the dry desert. And then in Florida, I know upwards in Georgia, the Carolinas as well, there's some other species of forest-dwelling scorpion that are going to look more similar to this guy.
And is a scorpion an insect?
Now, they are an arachnid.
Okay, so they're related to
The spiders, tarantulas, yeah. They are an arachnid.
I did
See,
not
I
know
was
that.
half right.
You were what do they eat?
This guy's just going to be eating crickets, mealworms,
Oh, that's so
superworms,
cool.
sometimes roaches.
How does
things
he
like
grab
that.
a cricket?
Just
With his
just with the pinchers right
and then
here.
puts it in his mouth?
Yeah, so actually you can see the mouth is really weird. Do you see right there on the front?
Yeah.
They're two claws.
Whoa.
They have two more tiny little claws that kind of act as their jaws, and they move them independently. Like one retracts, the other goes out, and they
Oh, that's
rip it and pull it
crazy.
apart.
Oh, so it's like a saw.
And yeah, and then their mouth is right down there. Those two little flaps of exoskeleton
Yeah.
right there that kind of opens up, and they just
Oh, that
push
is
it down.
crazy.
It's super, super interesting.
Does he have hair on his claws?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have hair everywhere, so that's kind of they don't have very good eyesight, these guys, but they have hairs everywhere. You can see on the very tip of the tail or the stinger right there how many
Yeah,
hairs are
even
there.
on the bottom, the whole entire bottom.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So they'll be able to feel stuff.
We gotta see.
Wherever
I wonder
it's
if they
going
can
around.
see
Bring
it.
him,
That's
bring him
really
closer
cool.
because Gabe should be sitting in the middle.
Yeah, I'm moving around.
I'm not sure if you guys
That
can
was
see, but he does have
That's
some little
awesome.
hairs kind of on the last knuckle of his tail right
Babe,
there
you
on
were
the
so
stinger.
close.
One of my favorite things
Yes,
that
honey.
I've been watching him do, because as Gabe was saying, they use their claws as like a big defense thing, but you can watch as he's hanging out with Gabe, when he gets close to his hand,
Oh, I
he
hit
closes his,
something.
oh, yeah, there you go. As he gets close to Gabe's hand, he closes his claws. He doesn't open them.
Yeah, I
He keeps
saw
them
that too.
closed to kind of, like, you can see how comfortable he is with Gabe. Being that one, they don't have good eyesight, like you just said, and then
Yeah.
this might be a really stupid question, but can they smell? Do they have noses?
Not
Like,
very
right?
well.
'Cause-
Not very well. Do you see between the little
yeah,
mouth claw thingies?
Kind of
There's
white in
almost
there?
it's kind of like little hairs.
yeah.
Those are really what's going to be soaking up water. They use that to drink,
Wow.
and it can collect scent particles on it, but there's no real keen, acute
Yeah.
sense of smell.
How old is he?
It's really hard to tell, especially with arachnids. This guy could be anywhere from 3 to 7 years old. When I got him, he's already an adult.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, very hard to tell with arachnids. That tarantula.
How do you
however-
tell if it's a boy or a girl?
Honestly, that's
You can't
something I
either.
don't know.
What's his
it's-
name?
His name's Kevin.
Is there possible that Kevin could be a Kavina?
He could very well be a Kavina. So with most animal species, especially arachnids, there's something called sexual dimorphism, which is just a difference in some kind of physical characteristic. Usually it's size, sometimes coloration, things like that. just from the size of this guy, I would guess he is a male, hence why I went with Kevin. But very well could be a Cavina. It's very hard to tell with arachnids. But yeah, females will get a little bit bigger than this. They'll have a little bit bigger pedipalps. But yeah, just by size, I would guess that this is a male.
He's so cool.
Super cool.
Now,
That's really
what if
cool.
something happens with like their tail or something? Like, would it regrow again or no?
No.
So that stinger, does it come off like
No, he
a
said that.
No,
it's-
it's completely.
So it's just like a knife. It's just
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They'll just keep jabbing you with it over and over.
Crazy.
So yeah, something like the tail, that's not going to grow back if they lose it. The pedipalps, it's kind of give or take. Really depends how severe it is,
Oh wow.
how far they are into their life.
What
But
would some of
they
their
can-
like main predators be?
Actually, a lot of birds.
I was gonna
Really?
say
A
like a
bird?
bird.
A lot of
Yeah.
birds.
Because of the beaks
Because
and-
they- how are they going to sting the beak? You know,
Yeah.
there's nothing really for them to do there.
That's interesting.
Yeah, a lot of birds. I know there are some species of mammals, some carnivorous mammals that will try to kind of slap these guys before they get stung.
He's kind of cute. But,
He's
He is.
He's
He
really
is
cute. I've
That's-
never in my life been that close
Me neither.
to one of that. Was really cool. Like,
He's
Pretty
really
cool.
cute.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I wish I could show you guys. It's not even going to be able to get picked up on the camera. Do you see
Yeah,
on
he's
the
got
front of
little
each feet they have two
toenails.
little hooks? They're actually made of
He's got
copper.
What?
Yeah, the little
What?
hooks on the tip of their toes, they're made of copper. How they're able to grip on.
get out of here.
Super cool. Made of
crazy.
copper.
That's
And their little
crazy.
toes.
Yeah, right there.
What? Yeah, they're little cute toes.
Oh wow. Super
Holy
cool.
cow.
Are they attracted to like different colors or like shiny things?
No,
or
not
no?
really. No, they more
He's
so
really
just
freaking cool.
anything that moves is kind of what they're drawn to. Just being a predator like this, they kind of just have that kill drive whenever they see something
That's
move
insane.
or fidget. That's
How
kind of-
often do they need to eat?
This guy, I feed him a few crickets once a week.
That's
That
crazy.
usually lasts him good. Once I see he's out of crickets, give him a couple days, and then I'll throw
Right.
some more in there for him.
That's cool.
Wow.
Super
That's
cool.
Really cool.
That is really awesome.
Yeah.
Please remind people to ask questions. We have no
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah, guys, we
Well, we are getting
Should
a
be
lot of
paying more
super
attention to the
cool.
chat.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Getting a lot of
that's
really
what-
cool
yeah.
content.
You guys have no idea. This kid probably could talk more than anybody in my family, which is hard to believe. It's a compliment, Gabe. I promise.
Thank you guys.
But we would love questions because I'm just absolutely shocked. I mean, I think these are some of the
I
coolest
think we
animals
should let
ever.
That's-
Heather get in there
this is-
and see how it
This is very calm right
I
now.
think that you're
Not
Yeah.
moving. Pedipalps are kind of
Yes.
folded in like that. Tail is completely curled inwards.
Yeah.
Just that's very.
Right,
How do they sleep? Do they get off their legs ever? Like
Now they literally
Oh my
just
God.
they kind of just stand. They curl up. I'll come show you real
I'll
quick.
come over there, you guys.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna scoot over now.
Kind of the way the surfaces are of his arms right here. When they fold in their pedipalps, they all kind of fold together like
Oh,
just
that's
very neatly. But yeah, they kind of just compact themselves. Which actually, let's see if I could get them onto the palm of my hand. Pretty cool thing you can do. You just cover them like that. Slowly make it a little bit tighter, and then that kind of. See how
Oh my
flat
God.
they get?
Wow.
They get very,
That's
very
really
flat.
cool.
Yeah, super flat. You see how they kind of just
Yeah.
compact themselves.
You can tell they look more
But
relaxed than
Yeah.
that.
That's exactly how he'll sleep, just like that. In his enclosure, I have little wooden pieces in there. He kind of
I
dug
was gonna
himself a
ask,
little
yeah.
burrow, and he'll just
That's
go
really
right in
neat.
there, and then yeah, you can see how cool it is the way they
Yeah.
fold up right there.
He is
But
really awesome.
That is a very relaxed scorpion
Yeah.
right there, which is super,
He's so
super
comfy.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Wow.
Super cool. Do you want to hold him, Miss Heather?
I sure
Have you
don't.
got- No, it's really cool.
Yes.
Should.
It's a
No,
once in a
yes.
lifetime
Super
opportunity.
No, no, it's not once in a lifetime. The kid's not going anywhere. We
All
love
right,
being-
I'll hold her down. You got it.
Okay? Maybe one day when I get my nerve up. But right now, this is as close as I'm going to get.
I do
Sorry.
feel like in the movie Jackass, they used the scorpion to.
I'm sure.
That was a lot of venom. They were putting
Yeah.
venom in a cup or something like that,
No,
right?
I think they were like using them to like bite or sting them, or use their.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I think Steve
I know
did
what you're
that.
talking
Yeah,
about.
that's crazy. Let's not do that today.
Yeah, no.
No.
But make sure you guys are asking questions, please. These are some really, really cool animals.
Let's see
That's the one
the craziest animal y'all got.
Someone said, "Can I see what the craziest animal y'all have?"
You're looking at
Yeah,
that.
yeah, Where are them?
This is debatable with the
Jordan
next
is
animal
him.
we'll bring.
A lot of the comments are, that's so cool, oh my god, they're
It is really
beautiful.
awesome. And the care that goes into reptiles is completely different than
Yes.
mammals,
Yeah,
like
very,
your
very
average,
different.
your average pet, like a dog or a cat. Are there, like, maybe not for him necessarily, but as far as like how do you know the different I don't even know the word. I guess is it called substrate, like the stuff that goes at the bottom of the
Yeah.
enclosure?
So
How do you know the difference between what to use for which animal?
excellent question. A lot of it was trial and error, whether from myself or other people
Mhm.
who are in this hobby as well, because
Mhm.
it's not just me.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of trial and error again for myself or other people. You do a lot of research and learn about some goods and some don'ts through things like that. And just very, very in-depth research about the natural environments that the animals come from. You can kind of get a good basis or understanding of what substrate they naturally be living on. And usually if it's commonly sold in the pet trade, there is some form of it regularly available for you to buy. But
Really cool.
yeah, something like another one of the lizards I have here that I'll be showing you guys shortly. It's called a red Aki monitor. It's a species of pygmy monitor native to Australia. Super, super cool. I'm sure you guys know Australia gets very hot. Ambient temperature is very hot. The ambient humidity as well is very, very dry. So that's an animal that's diurnal. They're awake during the day. They're going to be basking really throughout the day. So they're very, very used to hot temperatures, very low humidity. But when they're going to sleep, they're going to dig burrows in the ground that could go upwards of a foot deep into the ground. And scientists who've gone out there kind of trying to observe these guys in their environment actually measured humidities upwards of 80% down in those burrows, which is pretty cool. So in his enclosure, he has a massive enclosure. It's 6 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot. Very big enclosure. I actually built a microbiome in that enclosure, which is super cool. I kind of took some
Do that.
2x4s. I made almost like, it looks like a little gardening bed, something like that, but it's tucked to the corner of his enclosure where it's raised up from the rest, and I have about 12 inches of soil mixed with sand in there. Always make sure I water that, keep it very, very humid, and that way the sand soil mixture allows him to dig a burrow and keep its form nice, which is super cool.
These guys
Do you wanna
bring home.
Do you want to bring him out? Because that sounds really cool.
We'll bring him.
All right, let's see. I'm gonna get super close again.
Well,
We do have a
Yeah.
we do have a question.
Tori's got
Is that on this one?
Yeah.
Okay, you got it, Tori.
No, you got it.
Okay.
Don't put me on the spot.
Question for me?
Yes.
Tori on the spot. What are you doing?
What was your first reptile, Gabe?
My first reptile was a leopard gecko named Bella.
Oh.
I had her for 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah, she was super cool.
Wow. And are leopard geckos usually pretty, like they don't have long lifespans, or do they typically live long?
All right, real quick, I have a question.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that a gecko?
That's a chameleon.
Is it a chameleon?
I always
Yeah.
liked the
Is it
chameleon.
a chameleon?
That's a chameleon.
And apparently on YouTube, people think these are nooses for hangings. But
Oh my
God.
No.
Captain Obvious says it brings back bad memories. He said the rope offends me as a black man.
Oh my God.
So just to let everyone know, these ropes. This is our monkey room, and the monkeys like to play in the ropes.
Oh my goodness.
So we do have two good-
Captain Obvious. This is.
We do have two good questions from YouTube. Someone said, "Wow, Gabe, such cool animals. How many do you have in total at home?"
I just answered the question yesterday, but I already have to recount.
Who asked you the question yesterday?
Jordan.
Oh,
Was
Jordan,
it?
yes,
Yeah.
Let's see. We'll do a quick count for you.
Jordan, do you remember the answer?
Yeah.
I think I remember too.
It's 9, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 9.
Yeah, 9.
That's
Pretty
not
awesome.
that's not counting like my fish and
Yeah.
shrimp and all
Like,
those
do you
Oh my God, you have shrimp at home?
Oh,
He
dude.
has to feed them.
You should. He was
Dude,
telling
Oh, so you
me.
have them live, and then
Oh,
that's how you feed them?
Oh, you don't
so,
feed those
no.
types
So
of shrimp to him?
the shrimp I have, they're called Neocaridina shrimp. Super.
Are those like
cool.
the see-through ones, or the?
No, they're actually like they come in so many different colors. There's like red ones, yellow ones, orange, blue, like so many different colors. But it's more so like a decorative shrimp.
Right.
I set up like cool like live planted fish tanks and stuff, and I just have them in there.
That's really cool.
They're cool.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Hey, before you start with this next one, do you designate a day to do everybody's things, or is everybody on different?
Great question as well. So, once every 3 months, they get a full substrate deep clean of their enclosure, and then every single day is going to be spot cleaning, I have a rhino iguana. They actually
Look at that thing.
a thing with iguanas. They majority of them actually sneeze salt.
Really?
It's really weird. Yeah. So like where my rhino iguana sits in his enclosure, it's on one of the logs under his basking spot. His face is kind of oriented where like because the nostrils are on the side of the head. One is kind of going towards like each side of the enclosure. So just by the end of the day, there's just dripping like salt all along the glass
That's
on both
crazy.
sides. It's like stuff like that. Clean it every day. Poop, clean.
That is-
Poop,
Do they
any
poop
left
every
of-
day?
Not all of them. But yeah, if there's ever any poop and ever uneaten food, things like that. Besides when I feed them live food, like this guy sometimes he'll get like turkey gizzards, chicken breast, chicken hearts.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
I'll
cool.
cut up some stuff for him. Sometimes
Wow.
I give him and Slinky cat food as well,
Oh,
like wet cat food, just because it's high in protein.
yeah.
But that's not a staple diet. Something
Yeah.
like this guy right here, they can eat rodents, but even that, it's very good at packing on too much unwanted weight with these guys. But monitors, this is a red Aki monitor, by the way. That's who I was telling you guys about just a minute
That's
ago.
so cute.
But
What's his name?
his name's Taz.
Taz. Oh yeah.
Taz the Spaz.
Taz
This
the
guy
Spaz.
is crazy, but he's super cool. Just like Chewy, he also has a
Looks like a
prehensile tail.
leopard.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Super
It's
cool.
beautiful.
Wow.
You can bring him closer to the camera if you
Sure.
want.
that is really cool.
And then while you have him over there, while you were talking about his
Super
habitat, somebody was wondering if he's the only animal you have in that big habitat. Is that dedicated just to him, or does he share it with anyone else?
Was it my dad that asked that
Yes.
question? Was it? Yeah. Yeah. He just wanted me to talk about him. I actually have a tortoise in that enclosure as well. His name is Speedy. He's a redfoot tortoise.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, he's super cool.
So do they typically get along well with other like
Well,
reptiles
they have
like
to be
that? or-
red.
So
No,
with
Dad.
majority of lizards are usually going to be solitary. That goes for monitors as well. I'm sure you guys have all seen documentaries of like Komodo
Yeah,
dragons
like
just
the
going
big ones. Yeah.
crazy with each other. But these Aki monitors actually have been documented to live in small groups, which is super cool. You'll commonly
That's
see
very
in
cool.
captivity. People own them in trios, things like that. Usually a male and two females. Super cool.
Is that full grown for that type of monitor?
No, so they can get upwards of 1.5 to 2 feet. It is a species of pygmy monitor. That's not any kind of dwarfism or anything like that. Just a species that naturally gets a little bit smaller. But he's about 1.5 years old right now. He's getting pretty close to being full grown. He's gonna get a lot thicker, a little bit longer. But yeah, super
What's the
cool.
largest? There's some giant monitors, right? I
Yeah,
mean, like,
so
huge.
Komodo dragons are, I believe, the biggest by weight, and then there's something called a crocodile monitor, which gets actually sometimes longer than 10 feet. They could get like
What?
11, 12 feet.
What?
That's gotta be
Yeah.
the scariest thing in the world.
Yeah,
They-
imagine
they-
seeing that thing
They're
crawling
they're
towards
they're
you.
very scary.
Are they like not friendly type animals? or-
So that's like one of the newer species of monitor that people like started commonly keeping in captivity. It really depends how much you work with them. Something like a monitor, they're so intelligent that tongue is constantly being flicked all day long. They're very sharp sense of smell. This is an animal that you don't necessarily get it good by only handling it. You got to train it the way you would a dog. Monitors are very smart lizards.
That's cool.
But as the earlier they are, the more handling and socializing you get with them is gonna only help you in the long run. I've heard some crazy things with those croc monitors. Sometimes people have had some really cool ones throughout their entire lives, and there's some that are pretty nasty.
I can only imagine.
But they're scary.
Yeah,
Like
that's gotta be
razor
scary
sharp
for-
teeth. They're like fishing hooks. But
That's incredible.
yeah.
And what country would this one be from?
This will
or
be
what
from
area?
Australia.
Australia.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Is his
Right,
tail
okay.
prehensile?
It is prehensile. If you want, kind of put your finger right there, you'll feel him catch onto it.
Wow,
It's extremely strong.
that's so cool.
And I'll come
Someone's
around.
asking if you have any snakes.
I do have snakes. Unfortunately, neither of them could make it here with us today.
They had.
They had to sit this one out.
You guys can see
the
the
other
tail.
They had other plans.
Are
Dang it.
snakes a lot different when it comes to interacting because you have to worry about when they ate last, or is it this, or is it very similar with these guys? Because I know with snakes, a lot of people get worried about handling them if it's, I don't know if it's like right before a meal,
Yeah,
or if they're
so-
hungry.
It really just depends on the general demeanor of the snakes. Some are nicer than others naturally. Some snakes, it depends really how you feed them too. Some people feed them in the enclosure. Some people take them out of the enclosure to feed, which is what I recommend. But they'll start to develop like some food aggression. Anytime you put your hand in there, if you feed that snake in its cage, it's gonna see movement, and they're not
The
highly
best place to
intelligent.
do it outside.
Yeah,
where they live, right?
Exactly.
That's crazy.
But
And then what about these guys? Are they similar to that when it comes to feeding, or are they completely different?
the food response this animal has is like no other, you guys. When very, very, very quick when it comes to like processing information. Like if something moves, he is
So cool.
locked in on it. Super, super cool. But like I mentioned, they have a very acute sense of smell. I've had this guy since he was a baby. He was only 2 months old when I got him. Been handling him ever since, about 30 minutes a day. But yeah, he knows very well who I am. When he sees that initial movement, he'll kind of be curious, but very quickly he picks up on my scent. He realizes that's Gabe, that's not food.
Hmm.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And what's his favorite thing to eat?
Crickets.
Crickets.
He loves crickets. He loves chasing them around. He loves chasing
Can
them
you
around.
put them in his enclosure
Yeah.
and just let him do his thing?
Yeah, he,
Wow.
like I said, it's a 6 foot long enclosure. It's 3 feet wide. He has so much space to run around in there. I have like some cool cinder
That's
blocks.
so cool.
I have some cool flatter cinder blocks, not the
Right.
normal
Yeah.
shaped ones. Same design, hole in the middle, but a lot flatter. Parts of where they come from in the outback, they like rocky outcrops and things like that. They'll kind of wedge themselves in those outcrops and whatnot. That's actually kind of why they have that spiky tail. If any predator is trying to get near them, they'll kind of curl it around themselves and
Really
wedge it
spiky.
between the rock. But yeah, they love outcrops. So I have some cool cinder blocks in there, some flatter ones. Kind of stack them up so he has some spaces to go weave in and out through. Super, super cool. But yeah, he runs around his enclosure. He loves it. Chases his crickets. It's awesome.
How fast are they? Like, what's their top speed?
I don't know. I would guess not crazy fast. I would guess they could get upwards of like 15 miles per hour.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah.
That's pretty fast for a tiny
Can
guy
they
like
run
this.
on water?
No, they
Taylor
can't.
Butler's asking, what was your first reptile?
It was a
The,
leopard gecko named
Yeah.
Oh, did we ask that?
Yeah.
question?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Brooklyn said, "Hi, Gabe."
Hi, Brooklyn.
That's really cool. And you might have mentioned this, I don't know yet. What's their average lifespan?
These guys will be similar to something like Slinky, more so 20, 25 years.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Wish they lived longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wish they can live forever.
Did we talk about yet tonight about the contest that we're running? Did we mention what's going on with that?
In the beginning, I don't think you did it.
I don't know, so let's talk about that.
Didn't-
We need like another day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we posted last week during our live, we brought out our special guest, which was a baby sloth. We did ask you guys for name suggestions for a contest. We have
We have a
so
lot,
many
so
names
many.
that we are going through, so we do need probably about another day,
Yes.
maybe two, but maybe
just
to the
'cause-
end of the weekend, because
Yeah.
we've got busy days coming up. But we didn't forget about it. We promise. It's just there's a lot of names to go through, and there's some really cute names too. So we want to make sure we weed through everything. But yeah, that was one thing we wanted to mention.
Awesome.
Does he have anybody else, or is that it? Because I mean,
No, he does have
We
the
got
next
one more
We have
animal,
another one.
which we
I'm
are gonna
excited
have
for
to
this
get
one.
No, I think I know what this one is.
I
We
was
are
gonna say, do you
gonna-
want to blindfold Dad?
I want to.
I think
I
there's
just
one.
like-
You
I
have
I think. Do you know what the next one is?
No,
or
I'm just guessing.
What do you think?
I'm thinking your thing, the furry thing.
What's a furry thing? A hamster?
No.
This is, when I was a kid, I used to love these things. I used to go into an office when I was like 5 years old of somebody, and they had this on their table on their desk, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And they always scared me about it. But
Rom Levinson wants to know: do you only have reptiles, or do you have a dog or a cat?
Oh, good question. Good question.
Good question.
Do they get along with your reptiles?
Yeah.
I recently got a dog. I don't know if everyone can hear me well. Recently got a dog. He is a puppy. I believe he's like 3.5 months old right now. His name
He's
is
very
Rex. He is a Basenji. Super, super cool kind of dog. I don't think too many people actually know about him. But they're super cool. They're bred to be silent African hunting dogs. So their
What?
larynx,
I didn't know that about them. Wow.
their larynx was actually specially bred to not be able to produce a bark, which is super, super cool. So thankfully for us, Rex is very quiet most of the time.
Babe, why didn't you look into that kind of
He's
thing?
super cool.
That's
He's
crazy.
super cool.
Wow.
You
That's
can't get
cool.
rid of Tyra or
Okay,
Harry.
Tyra doesn't bark.
Are we
Tyra
bringing him out now?
I'm
can't
ready.
even take
Are we
Tyra.
blindfolding him again or no?
You want to be blindfolded or do you know
Yeah,
what
you
it is?
should.
I'm 99.9% sure I know what it is.
You just don't know how to say what it is.
Yeah, I know what it is.
What?
It's a,
What is it?
So the blindfold can't come
It's
on. Yes.
it's
You're just sitting here.
I know what it is. I just can't
No, he doesn't.
You got this, babe.
Blindfold him.
I won't get it. My brain is messed, but it's that. That is
Tarantula.
that. Yeah, tarantula. Those are one of my favorite things. So growing up, one of my favorite shows that I watched probably every single night of my life was The Three Stooges. And The Three Stooges had an episode with a tarantula that was my favorite episode ever as a kid. And then I used to go into this guy's office
hi to
regularly
you
when I
guys.
was like 5, and he had a tarantula on his desk all the time. And I thought it
She's
was,
okay with
I just
that.
love them. They're incredible animals.
Babe, she's
This is
beautiful.
Fluffy, by the way, you guys.
And again, you don't really know if it's a girl or a boy, but you
Is
assume
that
it's a girl?
I say him a lot,
Oh, him,
but
okay.
I do think this is a female,
Okay.
just from the size of the abdomen or the
Okay.
booty.
And look, she's got webs coming out.
Yeah.
She's got the BB Brazilian.
BBL.
Yeah,
She's got the BBL.
She's slim thick, guys.
Huge tuchus.
Yeah.
Did you just say tuchus?
Yes.
That's what my grandma and grandpa used to say. Get your tuchus on.
Trying to keep it PG.
Yes,
over here.
he's an old soul, Gabe.
I'm not.
It's okay, Gabe. You can say she's slim thick.
Slim thick.
There we go.
What would you say, Jordan? In your
Yeah, you're
That's just like
that's
the
your
T-Rex.
kid brain rot terms.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I would say she's slim fit.
There you go.
Does she have a
No,
yacht?
that's what
That's what I was hoping to get out of
Wait, does he
Not
have
saying
one?
that.
A yacht?
What's a guillot?
It's this right here. This
Explain
beautiful
what's a
rock.
yacht,
Where
Jordan?
did guillot
I don't
come
know.
from?
I don't know. It's just a thing everybody's been
It's
saying.
It's a
Or a
round
dump
rump.
truck.
Yeah.
Round rum.
Round
Alright, can we talk about the tarantula?
Gabe
Jordan's all shy right now. Look at how red his
This
face
is getting
is.
Gabe was making her twerk before.
Yeah, she
Jordan
does.
was twerking?
No. Jordan, let's twerking.
Who doesn't?
Oh yes, let's do a twerking competition, Jordan.
And
And
Fluffy.
Fluffy.
Wait, what do you mean, fluffy twerks?
Yes.
Dude, you want to see?
How?
Look, I'll show you.
Look at her webs, it's so cool.
Do it on the camera. You gotta show the cameras.
Oh, that's
Nobody's
cool.
allowed to screen record this,
Yeah.
okay?
You
This is
guys
private.
see her twerking a little bit?
Why do you assume
I'll
I'm
get you guys next.
Why don't you the first?
Little jiggle.
So we brought up twerking, and Dad's first thing was, "Why was Jordan twerking?" Well, because
cool.
that's unfortunately something. Never mind. Jordan.
Yeah.
Okay, so how old is Fluffy?
Fluffy is about 3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
A baby spider is called a sling.
Oh.
What?
It's called a sling.
That's pretty
When
good.
I first got Fluffy, she was smaller than my pinky nail. Literally looked like a fly, super small.
Crazy.
And I was honestly so scared when I got her because it's so hard to take care of an animal like that when it's so tiny. Really more so like the food options for it. I would buy her the smallest size of crickets that the pet store sold, and I would just feed her a single leg of that cricket.
Oh
That's
my God.
that's how small she was. I would feed her the hind leg that they used to jump, where all like the muscle and
Right.
fats are, and their venom kind of liquefies that stuff. So they just
Oh,
drink
that's
it like
crazy.
a smoothie. Super interesting.
Wow.
But yeah, I started off just feeding her like the cricket legs, and then a couple weeks later, her first molt, and she already looked a little bit bigger. I was like, okay, we're off to a good start. Then I started giving her like the head of a cricket, which was a little bit bigger than the leg. Then I'd give her like half the body, then the full body of a little cricket, and then I would give her like half the body of a large cricket, then like the full body of a large cricket, and
Wow.
it just, the amount of food she was eating just increased as she was getting bigger and bigger. And now she eats like 20 crickets in a sitting, which
Wow.
is like large crickets
Holy
that
cow.
yeah.
Crazy.
that are like a 1/4 inch long. But she eats so much, and I'm so surprised. She is amazing.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Holy
I'll come
cow.
around again.
Yeah.
And then I have a question.
Show you
Somebody
guys her
asked,
face.
Taylor Butler asked, does she molt?
Yeah, they're gonna be molting.
What
What does that
exactly
mean?
is
Is
molting?
like, yeah.
So they do have an exoskeleton, like something like humans. We have an endoskeleton, the skeletal structure on the inside. But since they're all hard and pretty much crunchy on the outside, when they're growing, it kind of gets tight around that. So they start to form a new layer of exoskeleton underneath, which doesn't solidify until the current layer is molted off.
How's that even
But it
possible?
looks pretty weird. It kind of starts from the stomach region and then the undersides of all the legs, and they almost kind of like point everything forward like this and like
Slide out.
and then wiggle out of it. Yeah.
So then do you keep that?
I
Or you throw them
have before. It's pretty crazy actually. Since it's the outside, it looks like exactly like the spider.
Really?
If you looked at just the piece of exo or the piece of molt next to her, like you wouldn't really even be able to tell which is which.
That's crazy.
It's
That's
pretty
really
crazy. It
cool.
looks exact. It still has all the hair and everything like that.
How fast does that usually happen? Like what's like the time period of each molt?
So the
that
big when I first
Wait, somebody said it's called dead if it's around me. I can't breathe.
Oh my god.
do you know much about the what is it called, arachnophobia? Like
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
anyone ever freaked out when you've brought out that?
Oh my gosh, I've had some friends in my room. Like when I bring out Fluffy. Part of the reason why I named her Fluffy is because of how many friends I have that are scared of spiders. I figured a cute name would make them a little less terrified of her. But yeah, I've had some friends freak out, like hide under the sheets in my bed, like just absolute screaming bloody murder, like some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And
Why do you allow your friends under the sheets of your bed? That's
They
weird.
just did- that's where they feel safe
weird.
from.
That's even weird. Let's move on.
Alright, yeah.
Next question.
So we were talking a little bit about arachnophobia.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't agree with it. I think if you guys actually gave one of these animals a chance, most cases you'd be
Heather's
able to
gonna
work
prove
it
them
out.
all wrong today.
Heather is
Heather,
gonna
let's
have
prove
to-
it.
you have
We're
to
definitely
prove it
afraid
wrong.
right now, but
I'll
you
hold
should give it a
her.
chance.
If you
No,
hold her.
yeah.
She's saying hi to you.
Yeah,
With her
hi.
little hands.
No, you have to do it.
Yo, she just turned
My
white.
stomach is killing me right
You're
now.
trying to
You got this. She's so gentle.
No, it's beautiful. That's
Wow.
Yeah.
Dad, you have to
Someone
hold her.
asked
She's
me-
Think
a
about
kid
it.
with
How
her.
many people die
See
a
the
year from
web.
spider bites
Yeah.
compared to mosquito bites?
See all the
Really
webs, Jordan?
Oh
Oh,
my
Heather,
gosh.
And the finger.
Oh, yeah.
Someone
That's
asked
crazy.
if she can bite.
Yeah, so every time I get asked that question, my favorite answer is anything with the mouth
Yeah.
could bite.
Mhm.
But yeah, she's the way spiders will kind of show that they're upset. They'll rear up on their back forelegs with the front four, kind of posture them up like this. They flash their fangs out, but I've never even seen her get in a defensive position like that. The most she's ever done to me was they can kick their hairs, these long hairs that they have covering their legs, the abdomen, thorax. They could kick those hairs off, and they're kind of irritating to the skin a little bit. They wedge themselves in there, but that's the most she's ever done.
So this might be a really stupid question, but obviously, like, she legitimately has hair. What stops
So-
them from being considered like being a mammal?
So
like,
I had a feeling that's where you're going with
Yeah.
that question. They're not actually true hairs. They're not keratin based.
Okay.
They have more of a calcium composition.
okay.
But yeah, just because it's not keratin, it's not necessarily true hair.
Interesting.
Mammals are the only animals on the planet that do have true keratin based
Mhm.
hairs.
Okay,
Yeah, because
so
this looks like hair.
Yeah,
like
it
I would
it
feel it
feels
almost
like
looks
it too.
like dog
Yeah,
hair.
it absolutely
It's
feels
she's
like
so
it.
soft.
Hmm.
so Heather said she would sit down and she would let you guys put Fluffy on her lap.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Here, I'll get yeah. She's beautiful. I love
Hey,
her
the
so much.
second I say to get her off me, you get her off.
Okay, I will. Should I stay seated or should I like come around to
No, I think
But,
that's perfect.
to answer, I forgot who asked the question, but just to answer, the first few months I had her, the molts were almost every 2 weeks to
Oh, yeah.
every month. But yeah, she hasn't molted in the past like 8 months.
Okay.
Typically, once they're adults, it slows down
Mhm.
a lot. This right here, on this little bald spots right there,
Yeah.
that's her getting ready to molt soon. So
Oh.
I'll be expecting it
And it's a
within the next
beautiful
few-
color still
Yeah,
too.
gorgeous. So where's she? Right on the lap?
Mhm.
Okay.
Dad, she's doing it.
Oh, that doesn't count. It's supposed to go in your
no,
hands.
babe, I can feel it on my legs. I can feel it
It's
on
on
my
your legs.
Yeah, I can
You
feel
wanna
it.
take her?
Yeah,
Oh my god, you're shaking.
Alright, now
Now your hands, Mom. Just put your hands flat. I promise you, Mom.
Yeah, just like
she's
that.
Not the
so
shit.
gentle.
I just had
She's-
rabies shots.
Yeah,
You can do
And
that.
keep your hands flat.
I'm
Like
trying to
this.
keep my hands flat. As soon as she starts moving, you take her off.
No, she might move.
Well,
Just
she's
might
gonna
move.
fly.
Yeah, she's gonna move, but.
Yeah.
Alright. Please just don't fling her.
I
Yeah, don't throw
No, because then she'll be. I don't know if I can do it.
You're okay,
You can
Mom.
do it.
Just breathe.
Just don't talk.
Yeah.
Just keep making that face.
Isn't she so beautiful?
Okay. Okay.
You want to take her?
Yep.
What
I
the
know.
heck?
Oh my god.
I'm
She's
so
so
itchy.
cool. Come
I'm
home.
so itchy right now.
I've never
Come
seen
on.
fear like that in my life.
I love her so
Oh,
much.
I don't even
I'm
know.
staring right now.
Wow, Heather, that was awesome.
Oh, that's
I
amazing.
got all that.
Oh, yeah, she's so
She's so
gentle.
cute.
Same
That's
goes for the
like
tarantula as well. They have the little copper hooks.
Yeah,
Same like
really?
Oh my
That's
God,
cool.
I'm so itchy.
Wow.
Oh my God, that is the cutest thing I've
So,
ever
do you
seen
know
in my
how
life. Yeah.
strong her venom is? If it
same,
is-
same as the scorpion. Very, very similar to that of a bee sting.
That's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Does she make like a lot of like webs in her?
So I built kind of like a do you want me to take her? Or you
No,
good?
no, good.
Yeah.
That thing is.
I dug like a cool little burrow in her enclosure. I've kind of soil that I use for her, but I kind of dug a little burrow, put some wood around it, and helped kind of hold the shape of the tunnel. And she completely like surrounded it with web. The entire front of her, like the whole substrate area in front of her little burrow, she almost made like a carpet out of web. And the reason they do that is so that one, it's a comfortable feeling for them. And any cricket that's running on the surface of that web, it puts tension there that pulls on the web somewhere else. They're actually able to feel like where there's a prey item on their web, which is super cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's super cool.
It does look like that would be the head.
Weird, right? But yeah,
Wow.
females typically do get like a huge abdomen like that.
Huge booty.
Huge booty. Yeah, super cool. It is called a Honduran curly hair tarantula. When she was younger, her hair's kind of curled a lot more.
Actually,
Yeah,
that's
it was
so
super. It
cute.
was super cool. It's not like a coil kind of curl. They're relatively straight, and then just the very end of it kind of curves back over like a fishing hook.
Al, it just looked like you wiped your nose on that show.
Oh, really? Sorry. I didn't wipe my nose on him, I promise.
All right,
Just
so
so
someone wants
Any
to,
other questions?
well, someone's asking about the dog, and I think that will be our sign off maybe. Someone asked if we found the owner of the dog yet. But everybody's saying how beautiful
Wow.
she is.
She
she's
is
I'm
gorgeous.
in love with that. That is the
Awesome.
coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like,
Is she gonna
that's
get any
amazing.
bigger or that's over? Oh my god, you're
Wait,
on
what?
your face.
Oh my
That's
god.
crazy.
Is that the biggest spider in the world?
No, the
There's bigger ones?
biggest species of tarantula is the Goliath bird eater. You guys see that?
Wait, a
Oh my
bird
god,
eater?
that's
Yeah,
so
it's
cool.
Well, I feel like
The
you look
Goliath
like
bird.
somebody with a tattoo on their
That
face.
is so
Yeah,
cool.
right? Like Mike Tyson.
Wow.
That is cool.
Wow.
That
How
is
does she
amazing.
like hold on?
Little copper
You can
hooks.
feel it, yeah. Tori,
Yeah, you can
You
feel it.
wanna jump in and hold her?
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
it.
Tori, you gotta do it.
Switch with me. Come on.
Tori,
let's go.
that's number
Are you
one.
kidding?
Number one, that person, her personality is amazing. You can
once
see,
once
you
she
can
gets
feel
in
it.
your hand, you
It's
can
here.
feel how
Like you can
amazing
feel her.
she
She's
is.
actually really caring.
She's
Like
so
she's really
sweet.
nice. Yeah. Sit
Hold on,
down. I'm
Tori.
telling Tori.
Go
You won't regret it, I
Did you hold
promise.
Wait,
Yeah, oh, Jordan, hold her.
You wanna hold her?
Are you scared?
She's just giving you
I
like
I
a.
kind of want to put her on my
Two
face
hands
though.
up.
Like,
It's
You
cool.
want to know
You like
something?
feel the
What would be
hooks.
this would be a really cool live show with an
This
audience.
is actually
Yeah.
really
And then you
cool.
bring the animals out. That
Yeah.
would be really
That'd be
cool.
awesome.
And then you go live and you have like a small little area, like 20, 30 people sit, and you could, that would be really freaking cool.
But
This
it
is
is
actually
to
so
talk
much
about
fun.
real quick, because what you said, Dad, is so crazy. Like with a spider like that, you wouldn't think that you can feel like the energy like you do with like your dog, your cat. Or, but like when you're hanging out with her, you can feel
You
her
could feel it.
energy.
You could feel
Like
it.
She's-
you can
She's
tell
very
she's
positive,
gentle.
like very
Yeah, yeah.
gentle. Like the second she's in your hands,
It
I don't know
feels
if
so
Mom
weird
can
when
speak
she
for this just because she was
Right.
nervous. Yeah. But like the second Gabe put her in my hands, I immediately felt like calm almost.
Yeah,
Like
no,
she makes
she's
you very like
She's very cool.
she is really cool.
Yeah, that
Wow.
was amazing.
I love her. That was really awesome.
Does she constantly move like that, Gabe?
Sometimes she will. Sometimes
She's so
she'll sit
weird.
still.
what does it mean if she sits still? She's just cozy.
Just cozy for the time being.
So what
Wow,
does it mean?
what an awesome animal. Well,
Well,
thank
thank you
you
guys.
so much, Gabe,
Yeah,
for
thank you guys
hanging
so
out with
much.
us. This
Thank
was
you.
really,
That was awesome.
this was
Thank you.
awesome. And
This
thank
was
you guys for watching.
Wait,
and
hold on. Before we end, I want to.
Oh yeah, well he'll be out here, but I just want to thank everybody for hanging out with us, and being so awesome, and obviously thank Gabe for bringing some of his babies out here.
Thank you guys for
And it's not the
listening.
last time you'll see him, I'm sure. I mean, he still has awesome animals at home that he's gonna probably bring out too. But
And I just came up with a really cool idea. Let me know in the comments what you think. I think this would be a really cool show live with people here, like 20, 30 people in like an audience, and then we can actually bring the animals out and just like we had the opportunity to hold an animal or pet it or see it up close. That would be really cool. I'm gonna put some thought into that. But we're gonna end it here because we just had a question about if we found the family to this incredibly cute, awesome little dog that was found in Wellington about 10 days ago. And no, we have not. Nobody has claimed this dog. No one's really even reached out that's saying it's theirs. We had one person we thought it was, but it wasn't. And tomorrow we spoke to Animal Care and Control. Tomorrow is the day that we could make a decision where we're either going to keep her or we will foster her until we find her an incredible home. If we decide to do that, it is going to be I know a lot of people have been asking, can they have her, can they have her? It's not going to work that way with us. We are going to make sure that we find the perfect fit for this home, for this dog, if we are deciding to not keep it, which we have to make that decision tomorrow as a family. And the only reason we wouldn't keep her, to be honest with you, is because of one of my dogs, or all of our dogs are gigantic. We have big 100-pound dogs, 140-pound dogs, 80-pound dogs, and this is like a 5-pound dog.
Yes.
And it really scares the crap out of me that a 140-pound dog could step on this and hurt her, and I would hate to put her through that. But we'll make that decision tomorrow, and we're going to let everybody know. So guys, I can't thank you all enough for tuning into these shows. This is our 7th episode of this season, and we're going to continue doing these. The only thing I ask is you guys make sure you share these when you see them, comment, ask lots of questions, and next week's going to be awesome too. I will not be here for next week. That's probably why it's going to be so awesome.
we're gonna do an employee takeover next week.
Yeah,
Really?
It's gonna get crazy.
yeah. Next week will be pretty
Make sure
awesome.
We'll be hanging from the rope.
Yeah, well, yeah.
There's
Everybody's talking about these things on YouTube. Wait until you see what we do with them next week.
Whoa.
All right, on that note, have a great night,
Have a
everybody.
good night, everyone.
What are you talking about?
They can use their imagination. They can tune in next
I'm
week.
using my imagination. Now it's disgusting.
Okay.
What else are you doing with
That's weird.
yours?
That's weird. We're talking about animals.
Guys, thank you very much. Have a great week. You all awesome.
Thank you,
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
She's just on
Bye-bye. Thank you, guys.
You know what that means, right?
Okay, that was awesome.
It's so like
That was
green.